Hey there, guys, it's Metro, and today we're taking a look at the Court of Stars Mythic. Very standard flavor of the month group comp here, so I didn't really have much to say about this. It's kind of why I wasn't going to upload this, but a few patrons of the channel suggested that I do so, so I will indeed do so. I actually really like this dungeon. Obviously, as you can see, it's fucking gorgeous. So, yeah, there's not much else to say about that topic. I think you'll find that to be true when you do it yourself or see it for the first time. But it's a very odd layout, okay? And to be 100% frank with you guys, I really did not understand much about what was going on while we were doing it. Obviously, you know, you do a dungeon, the point is to complete it, to kill the bosses, get loot, and then leave. But there's usually like a path that you have to take. This feels very, I don't know, it feels like they're trying to remake Magister's Terrace, but like, I don't know. I mean, first of all, this takes place in the city. This is the coolest part about this dungeon. In fact, it's going to be the main topic for today. We're going to talk almost exclusively about this dungeon. So if anybody has any questions, or more realistically, if anybody wants to add something to this discussion about things I missed or what we could have done differently, I would definitely like to hear it. Because there's a lot of random doors. There's a lot of random, it looks like there's a lot of paths that you can take. There's these like light things there at some points, and I'm not really sure what we need to do with them. I just see clicky things and I clicky, you know what I'm saying? That's how my brain operates in this game. It's like, ooh, I do heal now. Ooh, I do deeps now. Ooh, I click thing. Yay, we win. But anyway, the idea behind the dungeon is absolutely immaculate. It takes place in, and same with the archway, by the way. The archway is there too, basically. And you know, it's the same with that withered training. Actually, the more I think about it, this is a really, really, really well-made zone from Blizzard's behalf, on Blizzard's behalf, because what they've done here is they've made it so this zone is actually one giant dungeon. You know what I mean? Like a solo scenario and then two dungeons. You can actually explore these places in the zone for the most part. Like, you know, there's a lot of it is actually there. So. It's really interesting. I like the idea of it, and I wonder what they're actually going to do for the Nighthold as well, because, you know, I wonder if that is going to follow suit, or if it's going to be kind of like Hellfire Citadel, where it's there, but it looks completely different, and it's not anything similar. But anyway, it does seem like there's these mobs, the sentry mobs, if you remember from way back in the day. It's like, oh, a Duskwask sentry. So almost a lot of the trash, at least, is just straight up skippable. But then these sentries complicate things. And I think it has something to do with these beacons. I think what we're trying to do here is like light up the whole area or something like that. I really can't tell. And the map does not help. You're going to see me go to the map like 9 times in this video. And it's just like, I'm just here and I don't see, and there's like 8 different paths. I really just don't know. I really don't know. So I'd love to hear what you guys did, if you guys went a different route, you know, if you realize something that I don't realize about the dungeon's layout. There's basically 2 things that really confuse me, and this first part is definitely one of them. I have no idea why or where we're headed. I just know the boss is over there to the right, so I guess we're just kind of clearing a path there. But along the way, there's these things that are clickable. It's like a beacon. You'll see it over there off to the right, and we'll take a look at it here shortly, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, do you have to click it? I know then there's these things part of the quest. I don't know if like, yeah, if they're always there. You know, that there is part of the quest. I don't think that beacon thing is important for the quest though. Pretty sure it's part of the dungeon. But yeah, who knows? It may not be. But anyway, yeah, the actual dungeon, it's got some interesting trash to it. It's kind of the opposite of the Archway though. A lot of the trash is just very nondescript. It does actually make you feel like you're in a city, right? Because that's the goal. We are actually in a city. We're fighting in a city. It's not a dungeon. This isn't like Neltharian's Lair, you know, like this controlled dungeon where like all these things have waited and hoarded treasures and all this stuff. We're actually just in a city, and the people in the city are the ones we're fighting. So, yeah, there's all these different doors. As you can see over there, there's like a door, and then there's the pathways over there, and it's just like, it's really crazy. It's actually, it boggles the mind, and it makes me want to come in here and try to solo it. Like, once well, see, it's Mythic only. If there was a way to do it on Heroic or Normal or something like that, I would like to try this, because I'd like to fully explore this place, but I don't think that's going to ever be possible. Well, I guess unless I find a group who also wants to fully explore it, because there is a lot of nooks and crannies, ways you can go that you wouldn't, at least the way I'm looking at it is that you would never consider going. There's all these houses. I bet there's hidden stuff in here. I guarantee there is at least one or two small hidden things. But of course, you won't find them with your normal group, because the normal group on Mythic at least is going to just go right through, the easiest path, and then on Mythic Plus, it's going to be like even worse. But I mean, maybe there'll be mob count concerns. I'm not sure. This is one that I fear on Mythic Plus, guys. I really do fear it, because I am scared of these dungeons on Mythic Plus. They are very long and not your normal type of dungeon. So especially the Archway. I think the Archway is even scarier because of how many different ways, how much different trash there is and all that. So we'll have to see what it's like on Mythic Plus. I've never done these. But anyway, yeah, so you can see those two like light up pylons there. We're deliberating on what we need to do. I think we all agree that we need to click them or something like that. I really don't know. The chat's there. Maybe you can read it. I can't actually read it while I'm recording this audio, but yeah, I guess we're just kind of winging it. And it's fine. It works fine. Like, it's just, it's World of Warcraft. It's not that complicated no matter what you do, but it is a really interesting idea for a dungeon. So yeah, we'll go right to the boss here. I'll show you guys the first boss. We basically just cleared out the whole area, I guess, and now we're gonna fight the boss. The boss has one or two really interesting mechanics. We actually wiped here once. The main mechanic that he does is he puts his debuff on you. So there's that, right? And Resonant Slash is just like AoE kind of right in front of him and right behind him. So you got to pay attention to that. But it's complicated because of another mechanic that he puts on you that I think it slows you and it makes you take damage over time. That's the big part of it. And the way you get rid of it is by jumping, which we did not know that when we did this the first time. So there it is there. So watch, you see I jump and it goes away. A stack of it goes away. The other two do not realize this. So I could dispel them when the CD comes up, of course. So I'm going to do that here in a second. There you go. And yeah, it's possible to dispel, but you could also just jump. So this guy's a demon hunter. If he actually jumped, he would just be gone. It would be gone from him. So, but yeah, it's interesting. That's a weird mechanic. I just feel like they're trying to catch you by surprise with that mechanic. I don't look at that as like, ooh, that's a challenge right there. That's a fucking tough one right there, boys. But that's it kind of catches you by surprise. And now here's kind of what I was talking about, like the true eminence of the city. Like, we're going through these houses and like all these guests and all these people around us are commentating on what we're doing. They're like, oh my god, lol, look at this really strong paladin, he must be really good at the game. I was like, guys, I'm not that good. I'm all right. But yeah, so it's really cool. You get all these views and you can, it's just so gorgeous, man. That's all I can say. If there was one piece of like a summary of everything that I feel about this dungeon, is it's just beautiful. It really is. And there's so much depth to it. There's almost fake depth to it, because like I said, a lot of the places that you can go in this dungeon seemingly have no purpose. Maybe they do. So I'm not going to say allegedly. I'll say allegedly have no purpose. But yeah, I don't know for sure. And now you're out here again on the other side. So this is like, yeah, we've crossed through like this middle barrier of these houses, and now we're on the right side of the dungeon. And this is where the second boss is, and as you can see on the map there. So now this does not actually help me either, because this confuses me even more. If you saw the map there, there's the southern part there, which looks like it connects, and that's confusing. But the main thing here is that there's, like, you see the yellow dot on the right top there. Yeah, we're going to head over towards that. It's like a mob. It's kind of like a named mob, like a little bit more important mob than your normal mob maybe. But I don't really understand what we're doing here either. This is another really confusing part, because it's like we're doing all this trash, but I don't really understand the function of it. I don't, like, the boss isn't there normally. I think you have to like kill these named mobs a few times or something like that, and then it gets the boss's attention. But the coolest part about this area is, so the first area was like, felt like a city. This area feels like a courtyard, which is, of course, Court of Stars makes sense. But the coolest part about this area is there's these little buffs on the ground, which you could activate, and they give you like a massive buff, massive something. It's either damage, health. I think there's a light there. You're going to see me click it. We don't activate it now because I wasn't sure if there was a duration to it. But yeah, I walk right by it apparently, JK. But anyway, there's that light there. I think that one gave us damage, and then there was like food on the ground, and I don't know. Yeah, there's food there. You saw it, just a glimpse of it to the left there. I don't know if they're like class specific. I don't know if they're spec specific. I don't know if they're profession specific. I don't know. I have no idea. But all I do know is stuff like that is really fun. I like that a lot. I'm probably like, we probably needed to use these more. I think we probably could have used these more and it would have made the dungeon go faster. But of course, I have no idea what we're doing here, guys. This is basically the whole video. Just me wandering around following these guys who also have no idea what they're doing. And this is the main reason I healed these, because I tanked the Archway a bunch on my Demon Hunter back when it was a heroic still. But I didn't want to make... Yeah, I didn't want to make a video from that perspective because I knew I was going to end up finding myself in a position where I didn't know what I was doing. So I was, fuck it, let that stupid brewmaster make the mistakes, and then I could just talk shit about him the whole time. But anyway, yeah, this dungeon especially, I knew I was not going to be tanking no matter what scenario occurred, because there was no way I was going to record a video of this when I had absolutely no idea what I was doing as a tank. That's just not good. But at least as a healer, you can kind of mitigate some of that because... yeah, I get to follow the leader, you know, so that's cool. So yeah, here's that mob. This mob actually hits pretty hard. It's got like this, yeah, here you'll see it here. Yeah, that big AoE burst there, which I'm trying to do deeps, but it's doing a lot of damage, and we're taking out its damage, so it's difficult. This is definitely a dungeon here, a good example for the counter argument to not doing as much DPS as you could, because I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. So yeah, it looks like more mobs spawn there after we beat that name mob. Another mob comes out. I'm not sure, but either way, I don't know what's going on in the dungeon. I've never completed the dungeon. I don't know any of the mechanics. So I learned my lesson in the Archway. Made a few mistakes, and we wiped because of it. So I was like, forget this. We're not going to make these mistakes again. Let's just heal as much as we can. I'll do some damage in the first like 10 or so globals, but that's it. I won't try after that. And yeah, the dungeon still goes fine, obviously, but goes a lot slower than it could. It's about a 40-minute record time there. I cut it obviously down to 20, cut out a lot of trash, cut out some wipes. But either way, if we didn't wipe and we knew exactly what we were doing, this would be like a 20-minute dungeon, whereas the Archway is still probably like a 35+ minute dungeon. There's just too much trash, unless you're like invis potting or something. I don't know how you would make that go any faster. So anyway, miraculously, we have the boss out here now. Like I said, we just really ran around in circles for a while and killed shit. And now this boss is interesting because, like I said, you could use these buffs. I think we have that damage buff there. We also have a health buff, I think it is. You can see them on the top right there. One's like hands, and one is it's like a plate of food or something like that. But yeah, so the DPSers are doing good. I really don't know. Just talk about damage for a little bit here. I really don't know why this Demon Hunter is doing such little damage. I've seen Demon Hunters do insane damage right now, and a lot of people are talking about them being overtuned. I can't say overtuned because I don't know. Like, you can't say it's overtuned until raids open, right? We're talking about a 1-minute fight here. Like, yeah, obviously burst classes are overtuned on 1-minute fights. That's how it is. Welcome to challenge modes, guys. I don't. Did you not play last expansion? But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. The boss is kind of interesting. I think like the main interesting point is that you can just get these buffs, and it probably is the way you're supposed to do the fight, because as you see there, that was just a complete joke. But hey, I don't know. I really don't know. It's the first time I've ever done this place, and I'm just showing it to you guys because it's really cool looking. Now here, this is the coolest part. All right, so let's take a jaunt inside. So once you complete the first 2 bosses, now you're able to enter what I assume they're considering the proper Court of Stars area. Like, this is like the main function of the dungeon here. It's kind of like this masquerade that we're headed to. So we're gonna put our costume on, more glorious costume, I guess, more specific one for this matter. And we're gonna look at some rumors, I guess. Best way to describe it. There's a couple NPCs in the area that give us clues. We're basically trying to find a spy or something like that. Some enemy of us is hidden in this party, but we need to identify them first. So the only way to do that is to talk to these guys who give us rumors about one of these people being our enemy. And the guy was like, yeah, so he gives you like a visual description, okay? So that first one was like, yeah, they have no gloves on. I was like, maybe we need to take our gloves off, guys. So I took my gloves off, and then I realized immediately with the second one, I was like, I'm an idiot. But anyway, yes, put the gloves back on, and we keep walking around looking at them. So, I mean, maybe there's going to be some kind of add-on or some kind of combination that you could always remember, or hopefully it's not always the exact same person, but I don't know, I guess, so this is the shit that kind of makes me worry about Mythic Plus, right? Like, this is crazy. This is not your normal dungeon activity. We're basically like AFK. Like one person could do all of this, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know how you could make this go any faster unless there's some kind of pattern that you could always discern. But regardless, I guess people are figuring it out in the dungeon at this point. I thought I figured it out. I thought I knew who it was. You'll see what I mean in a second here. But there was two people who fit the thing. So it was like somebody without a cloak on, no cloak, no gloves, has a lot of money that they have to wear around in a pouch, basically. And it was something else. I think it was the type of clothes. Oh, long sleeves. That's right. Yeah, long sleeves. So those are like the 5 clues or whatever we got. Now I find somebody there who has like a book around their waist, and I was like, oh, that might be like a wallet or something like that. So I was like, I think it could be this individual here because they have the book around their waist, they have no gloves, they have long sleeves, they have a cloak, no cloak, etc. But then somebody found another NPC that was even more like it was even more obvious. The person instead of the book actually has a purse with coins. So yeah, I guess there is only like one option if you do it right. You'll know immediately. I don't even know what happens if you don't do it right. Has anybody tried it? I assume you die, right? Like I assume you're meant to wipe or something like that. Or maybe they all aggro or something. I don't know. I really don't. But man, this dungeon just scatters the imagination. It makes me really curious as to what Mythic Plus of this dungeon is going to be like, just because of all these weird time deflectors, you know? So anyway, yeah, we like pursue this individual. We find out that it is indeed them. They are the spy, quote unquote, whatever, I guess. And now we're going to follow them and beat them up or something like that. We're going to take them in the room. I think we need to get the key off them. So yeah, as you can see there, I just noticed there's a little purse around this person's waist. So yeah, they are definitely, they fit the description. But I just wonder if there's more than one that fits the description is the big issue. I wasn't able to gather enough information on that, obviously. But I do think this is a really cool idea. I like stuff like this in dungeons. It's just kind of scares me for when, you know, there's a timer on the dungeon, especially with mob count, like with this, the way the trash is organized. So anyway, we're going to go all back, you know, here and throw hands a little bit. I think this person is not too happy that we discovered them, and they're willing to do whatever it takes for us to be silent. So there's a couple options that they have, and one of them is to try to kill us. They are indeed a Dreadlord. What a surprise. Is this Jaina? No, I don't think so. That joke is overdone. But either way, yeah, so this is like kind of like a mini boss, I guess. Has a little bit of complication here. That Locust Swarm thing was actually pretty dangerous. And then, of course, that Shadow Bolt Volley there does some damage. But yeah, it's just a small... It doesn't have that much health, you know, so you can easily kill it quickly. Especially since, like I said, we really had no idea what we were doing here. We don't... like not using CDs very well, not organizing anything really at all. So yeah, this is not a threatening dungeon, I wouldn't say. We are now pretty much done with it. There's one boss remaining, and the last boss is really, I don't know. It's interesting. I like the mechanics of it, but it's just, I don't know. Everything in here feels like we're on spectator mode or something. Like it's the beauty of the dungeon is so great that they just made the actual mechanics of the dungeon easier so people could kind of enjoy the dungeon properly. But I say that, but yes, we are over gearing the fuck out of this dungeon. I'm like 8:45 at this point, so yeah, there's no surprise whatsoever that this dungeon is not challenging to me. But I think the problem is with Blizzard, right? So now we have the key. We're going to be able to open this final door here, and the final boss will be back here. And he'll also be out here talking to the final boss of Nighthold, which is, well, actually not the final boss, right? Because the final boss is Gul'dan, but yeah, the final, like the main night chick, you know what I mean? She's like Gran Illustrator Lysandra or some shit like that. Anyway, yeah. So we're not going to fight her. We're going to fight him, and he's going to be pretty easy. He's going to do these like weird mechanics. I'll show them off here. We'll talk about them as they happen. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for the dungeon. So if you guys have any questions about it, or like I said, I really would appreciate some discussion on this. So there's the Slicing Maelstrom. It's just kind of like a frontal comb, but you're going to see why that changes. And then, well, that's Slicing Maelstrom apparently. I don't know. Anyway, it's like AoE damage, and then there's this too. And I think he just does them more is what's happening here. It's hard to discern, honestly. Like I said, it's a shame. So now there's two, right? So I think like every time he does the direction that he jumps in, oh, and then yeah, he leaves a mirror image. Interesting. Very interesting. So now he's going to jump over there, and then the next time he does the line, and now his mirror image is over there. So yeah, now there's 3 lines, and then there's 2 mirror images. So now when he does the AoE, there's 3 sources of AoE. Very interesting. It's a very interesting idea. Obviously a punishing mechanic if you do not have good damage or you're just struggling in general. But anyway, that's it, guys. I would really appreciate you guys telling me what your experience was like. Please, if you watch the video, tell me if you guys went a different path, if you learned anything about the little houses, if you learned anything about the lights, if you learned anything about anything I talked about here. I would love to hear it, because obviously I am very new to this dungeon, and I need to learn it very quickly. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any other further questions or commentary, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video.